that relativity can be assumed to be exact. In other words, gravity is assumed to be completely absent. From this point of view, special relativity and all its consequences may be derived from a single simple postulate. In the presence of gravity, however, the approximate nature of special relativity may manifest itself. So the principle of equivalence is invoked to determine how matters respond.
Hey everybody, we are back. Week 40. Wow, man, that's crazy. We're getting close to signing off of 2015 pretty soon. Man, that's just nuts. I don't know if you guys have heard the terrible news, but it was announced this week that meat causes cancer. It's just tragic, I know. So let me get this right. First, they tell us we can't eat fat. I'm like, okay. Then they tell us we can't eat carbs. Okay. Now they're telling us we can't eat meat. I'm like, okay, so what you're saying is don't eat any food and you'll live forever. Is that what you're telling me? Anyway, another one of those ridiculously non-scientific studies that somehow gets a lot of press because they have a sensational headline like meat causes cancer. It's like, get out of here with that. But anyway, on to other things. I did get a very good piece of news this week regarding health. And that is, for those of you who've been with me for a long time, may remember last year, around September or October, I made the announcement that I had a blood test come back showing pre-diabetes. And I'm happy to report that this year's version of that test has come back with my stats in the normal range, which is quite relieving for me because there is diabetes in my family, and I've gotten a first-hand look, I should say, of what that can do to people, and it's not nice. So that is good news. So anyway, one of the things I'd like to discuss briefly is a slight continuation on last week's topic of how I count my calories and macronutrients, etc. The thing I just wanted to mention was that I don't put a ton of emphasis on the day-to-day hitting the specific numbers every single day. I look at the week with greater focus than I do on each individual day. So, for example, if I want to have a day where I eat more than is prescribed, fine. What I generally do is at the beginning of the week, I will multiply out my carbs, fats, and proteins by 7 and have a grand total for the week that I'm targeting. Pause again for an arm shot. It's been nice and warm lately. I don't know what the deal is, but I'm enjoying it. Anyway, so I'll have like a grand total. For example, say I have 70 fats per day. That'll work out to a grand total of 490 for the week. And so even if I have more than usual on one day, that just gets subtracted from the total. And it's only around the last 2 days of the week that I actually start looking and actually hit particular numbers, to make the numbers for the week work out precisely. So to talk about the lifting for this week, another really good week in terms of feeling energetic, loving the food intake, and just having no real issues with the weight. The only issue that I've had is the same one I mentioned last week, where definitely starting to approach the limit of the 1 minute rest periods. This week I noticed it specifically on squats because we went up to 225 for Sunday's squat session, and then 230 on Wednesday. But like I said, so far I made it, and so we're gonna go up again and keep trying. One thing that was kind of cool, I was looking at the old workout logs from the beginning of the year, and noticed that for the bench press, 165 was generally the volume week amount of weight I was using, because that was 70% of my target maximum, and I would only do 4 sets of 5 at the top weight because that program only had you do 4 sets at the top weight, but it actually built in some extra volume on your warm-ups. But the point I'm making is that at the time, I definitely weighed a lot more, and than I do now, and I'm about to handle 165, I think next week for the bench, and I don't foresee any real issue handling it. So that's pretty good. Like, it seems like some strength is coming back, after being on decent calories for a couple weeks now, and yeah, that's good. Yes, we're about to move to Wednesday's workout, which, as I mentioned, was a heavy squat day of 230. I gotta mention, I didn't feel 100% this day. However, it was a certain young mother's birthday. And so, you just can't wimp out on that day. You gotta get it done, right? So anyway, this is the first set that you're seeing. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that. Generally, I film the first set, and then, I don't film the sets after that. I gotta tell you, set number 6 was tough, and by rep 4, I was starting to wonder if I was gonna come back up, But like I said, we got it done, and happy birthday to young Thomas, because that is, wow. How is he 7 already? That's just nuts. But anyway, hitting the close grip bench as usual, and that's been feeling good as well. Starting to feel a nice burn in the lower triceps. At the end of that. Oh, look at that. You can see the belt is on. So a couple points about the belt. I can now get into notch number 6, which is pop quiz. What is that? That's right. It's another non-scale way to measure your dietary progress. I knew you'd get it right. But anyway, there's an issue with that, though. Now, there's a whole lot less padding on my midsection, and so the thing digs into my hip bone and also into the lower part of my ribs. So when I start wearing that for squats, which I think is going to be this coming week, I'm expecting that to be really uncomfortable, because when you're doing overhead press, you're not really compressing your upper body, because it kind of gets a little bent over and stuff when you're squatting. But with overhead press, you're pretty much just standing straight up. But yeah, when you're compressing and decompressing your midsection with the belt on, that's just going to be brutal. Not really looking forward to that. But I am looking forward to hitting more weight on the squats, so there's that. So anyway, this is the last lifting set of the week. Like I said, it was a good week, and looking forward to getting it done again next week. So on to the volume numbers for the week. Just like last week, about a 2,700 pound increase overall, and a pretty decent distribution amongst the lifts. As you can tell, I'm only going up in 2.5 pound increments on the bench and shoulder work, but going up in 5 pound increments on the squat and deads, and so you can see the difference in the numbers there. And now for the reverse diet update. I had no trouble hitting the expected target of 2,300 calories per day this week. And we show a body weight gain of 0.31. So that is between 1/4 and 1/2 pound. So that means that I can go up by 25 calories per day to the tune of 4 grams of carbohydrate and 1 gram of fat per day. So that's it, guys, for this week. You take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye.